doing my best. I'm struggling. I've managed to make it through the week. Well, that's it. Thank you for listening to this extended version of the best of Steve Allen. I'll be back with you live tomorrow at 5 a.m. And as well as listening live to LBC, you can listen back to this and other LBC programmes on the LBC app, as well as listening to a huge range of podcasts. Coming up at 10, it's Matt Fry. But next, with Weekend Breakfast, it's Andrew Castle.
Steve, thank you very much indeed. Just before 7 o'clock, the Children's Commissioner says the government and teachers' union should stop squabbling and agree a plan to reopen schools safely. No agreement has been reached between the two parties. This is the mayor of Liverpool saying he'll only send children back when it's safe to do so.
I want to make sure that children that go into school don't infect one another. This isn't looking for confrontation with anybody.
Well, that's going to take a while. Do you think children should be going back to school? The R rate is rising at a time when the PM is allowing the easing of lockdown restrictions in England. Deputy Chief Medical Officer for England, Dr. Jenny Harries.
R is a very standard way of looking and comparing what's happening, but the real outcome that we're looking for is a reduction in number of cases.
All that and Lord King of Lothbury, former Mervyn Brown, governor of the Bank of England, a little bit later on. This is LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom, I'm Bill Overton. The Children's Commissioner for England's telling the government and teacher unions to stop squabbling and agree on a plan for classes to resume. And Longfield's called for them both to agree on a safe, phased return to school, accompanied by rigorous COVID-19 testing for teachers, children and families. There's concern June the 1st is too soon. Former head teacher Chris June agrees whole year groups shouldn't be going back yet.
There is very little evidence yet about whether or not children can transmit this disease to adults, and until we're much clearer about that, I think it's too soon to be bringing children and teachers back into, a seriously enclosed environment like a classroom.
People are being asked to think carefully before going to national parks and beaches this weekend. It's the first since some lockdown restrictions have been eased in England. Drivers are being told to avoid going to Scotland and Wales, where the rules are still in place. First Minister Mark Drakeford hopes people listen.
My message to people who are thinking of doing that is, please visit Wales later. We are very keen to welcome people to Wales and always have been, but now is not the right moment.
Special COVID dogs that may be able to detect symptoms of coronavirus are starting trials. They're already used successfully to sniff out diseases like cancer and malaria. One of the main streets through Manchester city centre is being pedestrianised from today. Pavements are getting widened along Deansgate to help social distancing, and extra cycle lanes put in place. The City Council says it's a temporary measure for now. Claire Stocks from the Walk Ride Greater Manchester group says she wants to see lessons learned from the lockdown.
Cleaner, quieter streets, we've gained cleaner air, and people have found themselves walking and cycling more. Unlike many parts of the economy and society where we're trying to get things back to how they were, when it comes to transport strategy, we're not trying to get it back to how it was.
Top European football returns today. Germany will be the first league to resume during the pandemic. Players and coaching staff have been in quarantine for the past 14 days. All fixtures will take place behind closed doors. The former German international Dietmar Hamann says the strict rules around games need to be followed.
It's a huge opportunity for football to show that things can work. It requires a huge amount of discipline. From 1,700 people have been tested. All these people have to obey to the rules, because it only takes 1, 2, 3, 4 people who don't, and the whole thing could blow up.
Silverstone's agreed terms with Formula One to hold 2 races on consecutive weekends. In July and August, F1 wants to start the season with a similar doubleheader at the Red Bull Ring in Austria over the first 2 weeks of July. The weather today, chilly start, then sunny spells mostly for England and Wales. Cloudier with showers in the north, also for Scotland and Northern Ireland, and a high of 19 degrees. From Global's newsroom, you're up to date.
At Lidl, we're always Lidl on price. And with Pick of the Week, we cut our prices even lower, with 6 great deals on fresh fruits and vegetables and a pick of meat and fish. And they're different every Thursday, so you can mix it up in the kitchen while serving on the shop. Save up to 30% on award-winning produce with Pick of the Week. Now that's big on quality, and always Lidl on price. Subject to availability, select stores exclude tonight.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Andrew Castle.
It's a Saturday morning here on LBC. Andrew Castle with you, and I hope you've had a great week. Great to be back here. 4 minutes past 7 is the time. A little bit later on, Mervyn King, Sir Mervyn King, Lord King of Loughborough. Now he will be with us, former Governor of the Bank of England. Really looking forward to speaking with him shortly after 9 o'clock this morning. Should be about 15 minutes. He's got a great book out called Radical Uncertainty. A man who was at the helm during the financial crisis knows what it takes to get through some pretty serious issues. So we'll be asking him all about COVID, our response to it, the government's response to it, is Rishi Sunak doing a good job, etc. And we'll even ask him about the congestion charge as well. We'll be talking about that this hour, but it is schools that I want to start with. Simple question: do you think children should go back to school? 0345 6060 973. One supplementary to that: if you were a teacher, would you be happy teaching pupils in school? 15 of them in front of you, year 1 or reception, perhaps year 6. Yeah, year 6. Would you be happy? I would. Why can't teachers go back if others are? 84850 is the text. James Goodison, LBC's report, will bring us completely up to speed with where we are this week. James, good morning to you. Good morning, Andrew. There's currently an ongoing row between unions, the government, and scientists about when is the right time to open schools as the UK starts to come out of lockdown. There was a meeting yesterday evening between the teachers' unions and scientific advisors trying to hash out when schools will return. At the start of this week, of course, the government outlined a staggered opening of primary schools from preliminary the 1st of June, with reception years 1 and 6 returning first. There was no agreement last night, and the teachers' union want more clarity from the government about how they'll keep pupils and teachers safe. Kate Taylor's a teacher in Birmingham. She has her doubts about going back to the classroom.
We've seen firsthand how difficult children are finding social distancing. Staff are concerned that they could potentially pick up the virus from children, become unwell themselves, and then take it home to their own families.
England is the only UK nation to set a date for schools to reopen. The main concern for unions is the fear of a second wave being boosted by classroom interaction. They have the backing of the British Medical Association, which says schools should only reopen when we've got cases much lower. This is after the government announced yesterday that the rate of infection, the R rate, had gone up. The range is now between 0.7 and 1. Previously, it was between 0.5 and 0.9. The death toll in the UK also rose by 384 to 33,998. It says the easing of the lockdown this week means we could expect 15 million drivers heading onto the roads this weekend. There are also dozens of mass gatherings planned today across the country protesting against lockdown measures. Lots of flyers circulating online, on social media, encouraging people to bring a picnic and some music to their local park. Now, it's unclear how many people will be going to these events, but police say they are ready to step in if necessary, and we'll hear more from the Met Police later here on LBC. It's not clear who's behind the flyers, which also say no to mandatory vaccines, but there are warnings that they tap into coronavirus misinformation circulating online. Now, as the government headache continues over schools, the Children's Commissioner for England is getting involved, telling the government and teaching unions to stop squabbling. Anne Longfield's also called for rigorous COVID-19 testing for teachers, children and families to ease any fears about returning to the classrooms. While many teachers are being worried, some regional powers have already taken precautionary action. In the North East, Hartlepool Council tweeted to say children there won't be going back to school until rates of coronavirus drops. The Mayor of Liverpool, Joe Anderson, says it'll be the same there.
Education is important, but for me, health and safety of our children, our staff, is as important to us, and we want to make sure that it's a safe environment for them to return to.
Only time will tell whether the unions and the government listen to the Children's Commissioner, but with a fortnight or so left before the proposed return date for schools, the government needs to clear 2 hurdles. They need to find a way to reassure unions that their members will feel secure when they return to the classrooms, and they need to find a way to convince parents that it's safe to send their kids back to school.
That's right, James. Thank you very much indeed. James Goodison, LBC's reporter. Darren Northcott is National Official for Education at the NASUWT Teachers Union. I'll be speaking to Steve Chalk in just a second, who's founder of the Oasis Trust, which has 35 primary schools. Darren, the union line seems very firm by most people's standards, fairly critical of teachers going back. the sort of the public perception of your industry and of your union?
Well, good morning, Andrew. Our members are very worried about what's being planned by the DfE in terms of its strategy for wider opening of schools. It's important to remember that schools are open currently to the children of key workers and to vulnerable children. But in order to admit more children than are going to school currently, it's really important we have a clear plan where every school can work through what it needs to do to prepare properly so that it can operate as
How long is it going to take to put these plans together? This is a metre, that's 2 metres. Until you have absolutely everything there, you won't go back. Will it be? You think it will be safe when suddenly you've got lines on the floor and protocols in place and everything? I mean, does it have to be that level of perfection before you say, okay, we're going to teach?
It's got to be better than it is now. That, I think, is the bottom line as far as we're concerned. At the moment, it's simply not clear enough, and actually too much is left to the consideration. So it's not even a requirement. Schools are asked to consider.
Yeah, but that's where we are. That's where we are. Nobody can know. Delivery trucks, construction, national health, for goodness sake, and many other people who are going back to work don't have what you're saying, and they haven't had it for ages. I was talking to a bloke in a bank yesterday. They haven't had this for, I got some money out, and she passed me a pen. I used it and signed off, sanitised afterwards. I mean, if you want perfection, you can forget about it. We're not teaching kids for years to come if you want perfection.
And no one's asking for perfection. We're asking for standards elsewhere, which aren't perfect, as I say. But those standards elsewhere to be applied equally to schools as workplaces. And it's not just our members we're concerned about here. We know parents are concerned. And parents want schools to be as safe as possible. Andrew, no one is asking for perfection.
All right, well, thank you for that. I do understand where you're coming from. Darren was a national official for education at the NESUWT Teachers Union. Steve Chalk is the founder of the Oasis Trust, which has 35 primary schools. Steve, how are we going to get this whole thing opening and up and running again, and teachers being taught? Good morning, sir. had dealings with unions?
Yeah, they're members of, some are members of, and in actual fact, as a national group, we have a meeting with all teaching unions. In fact, we had one this week, day before yesterday, as I seem to remember. So we're talking to them, and I count one or two of the leaders of the unions as my friends. So we have a really good conversation about how to get this done.
So Steve, are you happy?
Got to get it done.
Are you happy sending people who are your friends, people who perhaps work for you, teachers, people who have parents, grandparents at home? They may not be in great shape themselves. Are you happy sending them into a class of 10, 15, 20 young people who may be asymptomatic but may be transmitting the virus?
Well, first of all, Andrew, it is important to understand the guidance that has come out from government. The government has said that it needs to be a maximum in any case of 15 in any one classroom, and that's the maximum. It's not.
Whatever. You've got 15 potential spreaders.
Second thing about what you said is, of course, no one wants any staff member or any child or any parent to feel any pressure whatsoever to return to school. And you're quite right. Some staff, they're worried, they're cautious. Some staff are vulnerable themselves because of their health conditions or the health conditions of people that they live with, etc., etc. There is no obligation or expectation or pressure for any one of those to become involved. We're a family of schools, and we want to talk together about these things, and equally with children. And here's the funny thing: you can speak to one parent, and I was talking to a parent 3 days ago, and she said to me, Steve, whatever the government say, whatever OAC schools say, whatever any union say, I am not sending my children back to school until after Christmas. On the other hand, just minutes later, on the phone, perhaps half an hour later, I was talking to a parent who was asking me when our schools were going to open because they were at their wits' end with their kids in the cramped conditions they live in, and poor families, and they freaked out.
I understand both sides of this argument. Steve, thank you. Steve Chalk is founder of Oasis Trust, which has 35 primary schools. Look, if you're a parent, are you going to send your children back? Are you desperate for them to go back? What are they missing out on? And what about vulnerable children as well? It's 0345 6060 973. If you're a teacher, are you going to feel unsafe with 15 little human beings in front of you? Is that what it's like? Well, how come everyone else is going back to work and you're not? Why are teachers a special case? 7:18 is the time. Later on this hour, I'm going to be speaking to the Shadow Transport Secretary. He, this morning, has been talking about the Children's Commissioner's comments, Anne Longfield, saying that the unions and the government need to stop squabbling about the very subject that we're talking about now. Well, it's a big thing to squabble about, but he will be on with me at 10 to 8 this morning. And we'll be talking about the R number in just a second. The official estimate of R has risen slightly over the last week, according to a consensus of scientists advising the government. How concerned should we be about R? Does anybody really know what R is? As well as that, the front page is coming your way Saturday morning here at LBC, and Dave Goff with the job.
Thanks, Andrew. Good morning. The M4 is closed in both directions until the early hours of Monday morning. It's because of planned roadworks between junction 6 for Slough and junction 8 and 9 for Maidenhead. In South Woodford, an accident on Woodford Avenue at Beehive Lane means the traffic lights are working there, but all the lanes are open now. In Barking on the A13 Ripple Road going into town, the entry slip road at the Lodge Avenue junction is closed. That's because of a fire in a nearby building. Emergency repairs in Roehampton means Alton Road southbound is closed from Roehampton Lane to Besborough Road. If you need to take the train today, engineering work means that Great Northern have no service between Finsbury Park and Moorgate, and South Eastern they're running buses between Lewisham and Orpington.
LBC.
People across the country living with health conditions are finding ways to keep their spirits up while keeping active. Like Tanya, who plays games and dances with her daughter.
Find something that you like, things like spinning around, pretending to be some sort of, I don't know, dancer. You know, stuff like that. You don't even realise you're exercising when you're doing that, and it just lifts your mood.
For ideas on how you can get moving around the home, search We Are Undefeatable.
At HMRC, we're working hard to fight tax scams during the coronavirus pandemic. Here's how you can also protect yourself. Be alert. Think before parting with your information or money. Be calm. It's okay okay to refuse requests. If you feel rushed, it could be a scam. Be secure. Tell HMRC and your bank if you think you've been a victim. Remember, if it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. For more information, search scams on gov.uk.
When you buy car or home insurance, you can choose a free gift with Confused.com rewards, like a £20 Domino's or Halfords voucher, £20 Shell fuel, or a Now TV pass, all for free. But, no but. Because that's what free means. No ifs, buts, or maybes. Don't be confused. Be Confused.com. Available on single annual policies. Now TV 18+. Shell excludes Northern Ireland. Full T's and C's online.
Oh, I hate buying online when there's no one to talk to.
That's why at hainesford.co.uk, buying your next Ford car or commercial vehicle is easier than ever. Simply select the Ford that's right for you, value your part exchange, and arrange finance, all at hainesford.co.uk, where you can chat with or call our Ford experts. We'll even deliver to your door. hainesford.co.uk. Always driving value.
Andrew Castle on LBC.
Matt Hancock said yesterday that COVID spares children in almost every case. It is safe to open schools. The unions don't see it that way. They need greater reassurances. They say the protocols are not in place to safely open schools, and yet other sectors of the economy are opening up. So where do you stand? If you're the parent of children, how desperate are you to send them back to school? Are you comfortable sending them back to school? Have you spoken to the school about the realities of sending these children back into a space where, let's be honest, there's not we don't know about COVID. They could be infected in school, couldn't they, if they start mixing with others? Anybody that's ever had children knows full well you've got to socialise them. They've got to get out. It's a part of human development. And it's been a lot of weeks now and they're missing out. It's worse the poorer you are. Your outcomes educationally are vital when you're poor. Social mobility will go down if we don't get our children and the education that they need. Jenny Harries, the likelihood of anybody having this at school is small and declining. Lack of education, diminished futures. That's what I would say. You comfortable sending your kids back to school? Nigel is in Nuneaton. Hello, Nigel.
Good morning.
Morning, mate.
My daughter's 33, but if she was a schoolgirl now, no way would I send her back because of this. Is one, have we got enough teachers at the moment who are on lockdown at the moment with this problem? And how many teachers, I'm sorry to say, have passed away? We know how many doctors and nurses have passed away, but I can't see the problem at the moment. I think the top priority is staying alive at the moment.
Yeah, is that the way you feel about it? Is that
yes, no?
So you would not send your daughter to school?
No. You stay at home until we get this blinking crisis sorted out, because I'm not going to lose my daughter. Plus, you're putting these teachers really in front of a gun to say to go back to work.
Yeah. How many? Well, they're not going to be forced to go back to work. It would seem they're not going to be fired if they choose not to go back to work. And it's only a limited and staggered opening, Nigel. By the way, do we know how many children have actually passed away, have died from COVID?
The last I heard, I think I'm right. 14 was it? Is it 14?
Is it 14? Is it? It seems callous to say that's a very small number, but as a proportion, it's a minuscule number, isn't it?
Yes, but don't forget, children are human beings anyway.
Yeah.
You know, right?
Well, nobody's saying they're widgets.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, I spoke to a nurse in our street, was a child minor. She packed in being a nurse. I said, would you go back, that the government's asked you to go back? She says, no way am I going in the hospital to die.
Yeah. Well, is there a chance that you're slightly overreacting to what is, for most people, a very mild illness?
Well, it's not a mild. We've got 33,000 dead.
What are you going to do, mate? There may never be a vaccine. You're just going to stay behind closed doors. At some point, we have to at some point, Nigel, we have to re-emerge. What are we going to do?
Yes. What I'm saying is, I've said from the start, and a lot of people's agreed with me, this is a man-made virus of China. And
No. See, that's where, we're just disappearing up our own things, 25 minutes past 7 is the time. Let's talk about man-made from China. Let's get straight into Jimmy Whitworth on this, Professor of International Public Health at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. A lot of people are saying it, Jimmy. You heard it from our previous caller. Good morning to you, sir. This is a man-made virus. Discuss.
Oh, good morning, Andrew.
I don't think there's any evidence for that at all.
There you go. Okay, that's a very simple and quick response. Is there anything else you want to add to that before everybody says that I didn't listen to our previous guest?
Well, I think that there's no reason to suspect that. I've talked to people who have been to laboratories in Wuhan, and they're very professional, very well organised laboratories. This isn't something that would be done there.